All right, everybody, what is going on? Good late evening. We've got some business to take a look at for these Seattle Seahawks, although, isn't it nice being able to talk about stuff like this right after you just won the Super Bowl? Everything feels a little bit more chill. It's not as stressful. You're not sitting there praying and hoping and just all stressed out about hoping the team makes the right decisions. Now it's more like, of course, you still hope they make the right decisions. You always do, but you got a little bit of a fallback in case things don't go your way. At the end of the day, number one, you just won. And number two, the team proved that they know what's up and they get things right more than they get things wrong. And whatever they do, you got to give them the benefit of the doubt until they do something to tell you that they don't deserve it anymore. All right, so we're going to be taking a look at Seattle Seahawk cut candidates. And to be clear, this is purely numerical. All right, guys, hold up because my friends at Sleeper are introducing some new features, and I want to tell you guys about them before we go any further. Sleeper is launching Team Picks, a new prediction market product. So now, on top of all the over-unders you can pick over on their Sleeper app, you can now pick on games. For instance, if you take a look to my left on the screen right now, you can see you can make a pick on the Super Bowl. They also have some bonuses available on over-unders for players. So there's now way more stuff you can get up to over on Sleeper. Get on over there before the Super Bowl, and don't forget to use the promo code SBN for a 100% match up to $100 on your first deposit. And don't forget to utilize the free $20 entry that you get just for making an account. So the Super Bowl is almost here. Make sure you get on Sleeper and have some fun with sports. And what I mean by that is this is a list of every player on the Seahawks who they could save money against the salary cap, a notable amount of money if they cut. Okay, that's all this is. All right, I know a lot of people are going to look at this list correctly and say, "Oh, we're never going to cut that guy." And in some cases, you're right. But the purpose of this video is to have all the data presented. And some of it is not going to end up mattering. Some of it is obviously not going to happen. But I wanted to present all the data. Now, one thing to keep in mind is for some of these players, they wouldn't get cut. They would probably get traded. And you save the same or even more of the money when you trade the player, typically. So that is also a consideration here. And let's get into it. Now, right off the bat, we have a player that I'm pretty sure is not going anywhere unless he demands a record-breaking contract and is going to hold out to get it. Sam Darnold. I could see a scenario where he's like, I want to get paid $65 million a year. And John Schneider's like, absolutely not. And Sam Darnold decides to draw his line in the sand. And then we trade him, I guess. I could see that maybe, but he's got 2 years left on his deal, and holding out in the modern NFL is very expensive. So I don't see this happening, but for whatever it's worth, the cap hit on Sam Darnold right now going into 2026 is just about 38 million. The dead cap, if he is released before June 1st with a pre-June 1st designation, is 25.6, which means the savings are 12.3 million. Significant, but you're still paying him most of his money. He's still getting more than 2/3 of what you owe him, even if you let him go. And same for a trade. So, not really much reason to do that. I will say a post June 1st release, according to OTC, is actually very fruitful. But remember, when you do a post June 1st release, the money that you're saving on 2026 just gets pushed into 2027. So in this case, if we did a post June 1st release of Sam Darnold, you would only owe him 6.4 million, which means you're saving 31.5 million. Now, that does sound pretty good. And that is actually something that if we didn't want Sam Darnold, we might be open to doing. I'm pretty sure this is not an instance where we don't like Sam Darnold, but keep in mind, almost $20 million in dead cap would then hit the 2027 books, because it doesn't go away, it just gets pushed into a future season. Okay, so that's not going to happen, but what I do think will probably happen is Uchenna Nwosu. I don't think you can bring him back in 2026 for about 20 million. He did have a decent year overall, but most of his production came early in the year. As the year went on, I felt like he just didn't have it anymore. Made a great play in the Super Bowl, but in like the last 12 games the Seahawks played, he had a sack and a half. And just generally speaking, he doesn't really finish plays anymore. He can hold up against the run, he can get the occasional pressure, but he has no ability to finish plays anymore, it feels like. So the dead cap hit, if we release Nwosu, is 8.5 million, which means you're saving 11.5 million. That's pretty significant. You get to save well over half of the cap hit. And there's no post June 1st here because it's the last year of his deal. So something has to give here. Maybe you could work something out where he takes a pay cut. Maybe you extend him, and in exchange, he allows the cap hit to get pushed out and spread around. But I can't bring Nwosu back in 2026 for $20 million. I'll say that. He's just not worth it. And if anything, it's probably going to get worse because we know why this is happening, right? He's had a lot of injuries. His body is probably breaking down. It's unfortunate, but if anything, it's just going to get worse pretty quickly. Cooper Kupp is our next guy here. Currently due 17.5 million for 2026. The dead cap on releasing him. And one thing to think about here, Cooper Kupp could also retire. And if he retires, it's the same thing, right? The dead cap stays the same because it's all guaranteed bonus money. He still gets that. So this also applies if Cooper Kupp retires. Dead cap is 8. The cap savings would then be 9.5 million. Pretty significant. You could probably turn that 9.5 million into the first year cap hit on a Rashid Shaheed extension. You can go post June 1st here, and it goes to 4 million dead, and then you're saving 13.5. That's a lot too. But this also means 4 million dead in 2027. So you're just cutting it in half, putting one half in 2026, one half in 2027. DeMarcus Lawrence is the next guy here. And he's here in part because he is another guy who might retire in the offseason. There is a possibility that D-Law hangs it up. He just got his Super Bowl. He's going to turn 34 this offseason. It would make some sense. His cap hit is only 11 and call it 3/4 million. Very, very reasonable. He could fall off significantly in 2026 and still be easily worth that in my book. The dead cap on letting him go, cutting him, trading him, having him retire, whatever, 4.25. So that means there are significant savings if he's not here next year. 7.5 million. So 7.5 million, that would go a decently long way in helping replenish this roster. I don't think there's any way we release him. We're not going to cut him. We're not going to trade him. The only thing that can really happen with D-Law is retirement. But it's all the same. If we do post June 1st, then it's 2.1 million, which means we save about, call it 9.75 million on the cap. Significant. Not a lot of dead money here. It was a great contract we got D-Law on. So good, I almost wonder if he's going to want a new one because he had such a good year. But that's a discussion for another time. All right, so next up we got Big Cat Leonard Williams here. And again, this is another circumstance. I don't think we're going to trade him. I don't think we're going to cut him. He's still really, really good. The one thing that could really happen here is that he retires. And some people think that he might. I don't think that he will. But if he retires, I don't know if we would make a big deal out of it, but he is due a lot of money either way. His cap hit is just under 30 million for 2026. The dead cap, if he retires, is 22.25 million approximately. Call it 22.25, which means the savings would only be 7.25 million. Not that much. I mean, 7.2 million is quite a bit of cap space, but he's still getting paid a vast majority of his cap hit, even if he's not here. Now, we can post June 1st it, and get the dead cap hit down to about 13 million, which brings the cap savings up to 16 and a little bit more than 16 and a half. That's better. Now you're at least pushing it out a little bit. You're still going to pay him all that money, though. He's still going to charge all the full amount against the cap. It's just not going to kick in until future seasons. So hopefully it doesn't come to this. Hopefully he doesn't retire. Honestly, Leonard Williams is the guy I would like to extend this offseason, but first he's got to make a decision on if he wants to keep playing. All right. Ernest Jones is the next guy up. This is another guy who is obviously not going to go anywhere. And unlike some of the guys we just talked about, I don't think he's on the table to retire. So this is just kind of a numerical thing. This is just kind of me presenting data. I don't think there's any way this happens. Ernest Jones is due a cap hit of about 11 million next year. Very, very reasonable, especially for the level of play he provides. The dead cap, if he is not here via release or trade, is 4 2/3, which means the cap savings is about 6 1/3. Pretty good, but you'd certainly rather have Ernest Jones than 6 1/3 million. Post June 1st, by the way, 2.3 million in each of the next 2 seasons dead, which means you're saving 8 and a little bit more than 8.5 in 2026. But again, not really going to happen. Jason Myers, the record-breaking man himself, he is probably going to get extended this offseason, and we will have a conversation about that later. But if you want to move off of him, you want to trade him, you want to release him, which, look, being a kicker in the NFL is fickle. So I don't think it's a completely unwise thing to consider. But he was a little too good this last year. I think you got to keep him around. He is due 7.25 million approximately. I don't think that's going to hold. I think we're going to have to get him on an extension. But if you do decide to trade him or release him or whatever, you are looking at just under 1.9 million dead, which means you're saving more than 5.25. So that is significant for a kicker. And hey, if you feel like you can replace him for cheaper, then I mean, I get it. But I don't think they're going to rock the boat here. But it is quite a bit of money that you could be saving here. Julian Love, currently due a cap hit of about 13 million, just under 13 million in 2026. If you move him, the dead cap is 8.5, so you're only saving 4.4, not very good. But if you do it post June 1st, then you cut that cap hit in half, spread it out across 2 years, and then you're saving 8.6. That's a little more reasonable. I still don't think they're going to do it. Julian Love is still a good player. I think some people kind of forgot how good Julian Love can be because he was injured a lot of 2025, but this is not a prohibitive cost for a quality safety, and we're probably losing Kobe anyway, so I don't want to completely flip things over at safety. Maybe if we bring back Kobe, then Love goes. I could maybe see that, but Love is still pretty good. Okay, Jarran Reed is our next guy up. He is due a cap hit of about 7.4 million. So pretty significant for a guy who is serviceable, but isn't necessarily a big impact player. So there is a little bit of a decision to make here because the dead cap hit is 3 million, which means the cap savings on a release, a flat release, would be 4.4. The post June 1st dead cap hit would only be 1.5 million. And then you kick the 1.5 million forward, but you're saving almost 6 million, just under 6 million. Really good. That may be something the team needs to think about. I know they value Jarran Reed. I do too. But can you get similar things from a younger and cheaper and hungrier player? I mean, Jarran Reed, he's another guy who might retire, by the way. Don't forget about that. He's old. He's been in the league a while. He's had a decade-long career. Now he's got a ring. Maybe. The final 2 guys, these are guys that are not, they're barely even financial considerations, but you got Anthony Bradford, due 3.8 million right now in 2026. Only 200,000 dead if he is released, which means you're saving 3.6. Now, 3.6 million, not really moving the needle that much, but we all know how flawed a player Anthony Bradford is. And if you feel like you can upgrade the position, then hey, you're getting a little bit of money back in your pocket. And finally, we got Drew Lock, who is due 2.75 million next year as the backup. Only $500,000 is guaranteed. So you let him go, you are saving 2.25. Something to think about because we do have Milrow here. All right. I will see you guys later. Go Hawks. Let me know what you guys think about all this. Those are the numbers. Technically, we could save a little bit of money if we cut Abe Lucas, but that's it was very little money. It was like just over 2 million, so I didn't include that. I could have, but nobody's going to vote in favor of that anyway. All right. See you guys later. Go Hawks. Let me know what you think about all this and who are you letting go?